episode. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you for another episode of Coffee with Rhonda. And today we're going to talk about ladies, stop hiding your accomplishments. So happy Saturday to you. We want to welcome you to today's episode of Coffee with Rhonda, where we have coaches and thought leaders really discuss the successes and challenges that we all deal with every day, just in terms of being a woman in this day and age. So before we introduce ourselves, we want to just cover a few housekeeping items with you. Number one, if you're watching out there, tell us your name, tell us where you're watching from, and don't forget to tell us what's in your cup. Don't forget to like the video and share it. Please share the video because there's a little nugget in here that somebody in your network would love to hear. And also comment, talk to us, comment on anything that resonates with you. So my name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I'm the host for the show. I'm known as the Dream Life Coach. I'm an emotional intelligence strategist and a coach helping leaders shift from overwhelmed to overjoyed, from stuck to unstuck so that they can live a life they love. I'm also the founder of Dream Life by Design Mastermind Group, where we help you transition to your way of joyful living by establishing your goals and helping to make sure you meet those. So if you're interested in more information, you can go to manifestmydreams.com, click the join button, and I'll reach out to you with more information. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, I want to tell you I've got my lovely little cup here, and it says be awesome today and every day. And I've just got some coffee with some vanilla creamer in here. So that's what's in my cup today. So let's move to our co-host so they can introduce themselves. And Roz, we're going to start with you this morning.
Good morning. I am Roz Jones. You know, you guys are familiar with me by now. I'm the CEO and owner of Jacksonville's Best Caregivers, where we provide 4 levels of care: sitter, homemaker companion, certified nursing assistant, and home health aide. When you can't do it all, give us a call. And in my cup, and it's not all the way full, however, I have tea, lemon, and honey, and my cup is plain. I'm not fancy like Miss Wanda, but I'm gonna get there.
All right, that's okay. A plain cup is still a good cup.
It's still a good cup.
All right, hooray.
Hello. I'm so happy to be back today. My name is Marae Tulekima. I'm based in Perth, Australia. I'm an engineer by background. I'm also known as the Greatness Engineer. I'm the CEO and founder of MT Energy Resources, which is a oil and gas company. But I'm also a coach and the founder of Marae Tulekima Global Leadership Organization, an organization who actually help people and organization to become the best that it can be. So I'm really excited by the subject today, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I have water here. It's nighttime. I can't drink coffee or tea.
That is awesome. Well, hey, a little bit of hydration at the end of the night is a good thing too, right? So, I am really excited about this conversation today, ladies. So let me give you a little bit of background. I was at a conference this past week, and I attended this session sponsored by Google. And this Google session, I want to make sure that I'm sharing us out to the right page. I'm going to make sure it's on the Coffee with Rhonda page too. So I attended this session by Google, and the session was called I Am Remarkable. And at this session, they shared some information. So Google had a few colleagues in another country that realized they were starting to pay attention about how women communicated about their accomplishments in the workplace. And what they realized was that women communicate their accomplishments differently. I.e., we don't really like to speak up and talk about our accomplishments so much. So they started noticing these differences, and they said, well, let's look into this a little bit more. What they then realized is that not only did women not communicate their accomplishments very much or very well, that also the women that did not, it affected their career progression. So by not communicating these accomplishments a lot, it affected their career paths.
Mhm.
So now there's another twist to this story. So you have women who are not comfortable communicating their accomplishments, therefore they don't, and their careers are impacted. And those that did communicate their accomplishments tended to have a faster progression in their careers. But the twist is that neither men or women like women who communicate their accomplishments a lot. So think about that for a moment. So you have women that don't communicate their accomplishments a lot. You have men and women who don't like women that do communicate their accomplishments a lot. And yet, if we don't communicate our accomplishments, then we're struggling to sort of get that same career traction as others. So, as I was listening to this, I was sort of thinking to myself, well, holy cow. So, what do we do with this, right? And I began to think about myself and I'm thinking, okay, why don't we communicate our accomplishments a lot? So, let's start there with number one, what your thoughts are on why don't women communicate their accomplishments a lot in the work setting, in the workplace? Why do you think it is that we hesitate to do that? And so let's start with that part of the conversation, and then we're going to go through and maybe talk about sort of how that impacts us and the strategies a little bit. But why do you think it is? All right, we finally got it broadcasted to the page. Yay! Okay. So just all kinds of struggles today. So why do you think it is that women don't communicate? So Marae, let's start with you. In the workplace setting, as I began to think about this, and I thought to myself, even how I feel about women who communicate their accomplishments a lot.
I think there's, it comes back to the way we feel. I mean, as individuals, and especially as women, we always fight with this imposter syndrome, where we feel like, whatever we accomplish, we actually don't deserve to be, recognized for that. So we sit on the side, and even when something tremendous we do something exceptional, we're still struggling to be, proud of what we're doing and start to talk about it. And there's actually one reason that you mentioned, when we work with women, it's mainly because we don't want to be seen too aggressive. Because, like you said, other women don't like women who actually talk about their accomplishment. So that's one thing. And also because I've worked, mostly with men. Men also don't actually like women who are come from very, aggressive and know what they want, because it actually they feel like you're trying to. It's an ego problem. I think they have an ego problem where for them, women just have to follow and they just have to listen. They shouldn't be leading them. They always have to be the leader. And that's something that they've always, they always, think. And it's about time. And I think for us, it's about time to believe in ourselves, because it's a belief problem in this case, to believe in ourselves and to be all right with and love what we do, love ourselves and express ourselves, because at the end of the day, the most important thing, it's us. Because if we're not translating this, this confidence, nobody will actually support us. So we have to start by going out there, even if there are challenges, continue to do it, because at the end of the day, if we don't say anything, then nobody knows what we are doing and nobody knows what is our value. So when you talk about career progression, then you've been silent, so nobody actually notice you and they forget you.
Absolutely. It's interesting because, it is a bit of ego, I think, why other people don't want to hear us talk about our accomplishments. But I read this quote, and the quote said that it's not bragging if it's true, if it's fact, right? If you're just stating a fact about something that you accomplished, It's not bragging, but I think we have this inside thing inside of us where we feel like it's bragging. Well, if I talk about what I do, then it's bragging, and that sort of thing. Well, is it bragging, or maybe is it our delivery that makes it feel like we're bragging, or something like that? I think those are all things that we have to figure out, how we do that, how we deliver that message, how we share. But at the end of the day, we should just be able to be proud of what we've done. So, Roz, what are your thoughts on why you think why don't we want to share our accomplishments in the workplace?
I think sometimes we don't do it. It's because of what other people will say. Because will we be judged? And then I got to the point, and I'm guilty of this. I just received an award, and I waited, and didn't say anything until maybe a couple of days ago. And someone asked me, "Well, Rosin, why did you wait?" And I said, "I don't know. But as I think about it, as you're talking about it now, I was really wondering what would people think about me, because I've been doing a lot lately. I've been going to conferences, and people are starting to recognize me for my work in caregiving. So why should I be embarrassed about years of work that I'm getting acknowledged? What's the difference between being acknowledged for, employee of the month? What's the difference for being acknowledged for teacher of the year? There's still acknowledgments. And so what's the difference with us being recognized as entrepreneurs or author of the month, or, so I think it's, it's the individual person, the reason why they don't do it, and then also to what their peers are going to think, so I think part of it is peer pressure, part of it is individual. How will I be judged? How will I be looked at? And then I had someone inbox me after I, put this out and said, "Rosalind, I'm so glad that you put out what you're doing, because it encourages me." That right there let me know that from now on, I will no longer hold back and be embarrassed, because somebody is waiting.
Right.
Somebody's waiting, one person. And if that's all, that if I impacted that one person, I've done a job well done.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a job well done. So, we have to get out of the mindset of it's all about me, and it's not about us. It's about, we're all here, all three of us, and everybody we talk to throughout these broadcasts. We're here to help others. And if we don't talk about it, how are we going to help?
Right. Right. It's so interesting that we talk about judgment and we fear judgment, and the biggest judgers tend to be ourselves. Right? We judge ourselves more harshly than anyone. Or I can remember in some accomplishments thinking, well, yeah, I wrote that book, but that's not a big deal. Somebody else has 5 books or 10 books, or, that's just a little thing and nobody cares. It's really not a big deal. You don't need to share that. And so it really is very interesting, sort of this game that we play with ourselves in our own heads that hold us back and stop us. And I can so appreciate, Roz, the person saying to you that you help them. Because at the end of the day, we share because others can learn and be inspired. Hopefully we can, maybe they do something from our journey. And so that's so important for us. And so why should we step back? But what happens when others are judging you? Because there are those people, right, in the workplace, and they're looking at you going, "Oh, well, that's not a big deal." How should we handle that? Should that stop us? Or should we address it? What should we do with those? I hesitate to call them haters. Maybe they are. I don't know. But what they do exist. What do we do with that?
Who did you want to talk first, me or Mariah?
I mean, there's nothing you.
Yeah.
There's nothing of your accomplishment. The most important thing.
I think we.
How you want to be,
Marie's breaking up on us. Let me hold on for a second. Let me pause you for a second because you're breaking up. Let me bring you back up here. Roz, Go ahead and share sort of your thoughts on that. What do we do when that's happening to us?
We all have to get over what people are going to think about us. If we allow what people think about us, I don't allow what people think about me to be a part of my daily plan. To impact my purpose. And I used to do that. I used to allow what people's opinions, and how they judge me, what they thought about me, to impact what I do. And that's what I did when I didn't put the announcement out. I allow what other people think to stop me. We've got to stop that. We can't worry about other people's opinions. Their opinions, at the end of the day, they don't help us in our purpose. They don't help us in our business. Unless we're asking for advice. Advice and opinions are different, and suggestions. But when you have a hater, oh, she's always bragging on herself. Oh, that's because they're not getting off of their blessed assurance and doing nothing. That's the way I feel.
Wait, hold on. They're not getting off of their blessed assurance. Is that what you just said?
That's what I just said. They are not getting off. They're not doing anything. They're jealous because they're not doing anything. Come on. Most people, oh, who does she think she is? She always putting some, Rhonda always going somewhere. Mariah got that weekly show. Who do they think they are? Every time I come around, they tagging me. I'm sick of them tagging me. Okay, well, if you're sick of them tagging you, untag yourself.
Right.
But obviously, you want to know what's going on. Obviously, what they're doing, you like. And it's something that you either inspire to do, or we are inspiring you to do it. That's all we're doing with this. With the broadcast, when we tell you we're going places, it's to let you know you can do it. It's not for you to hate us. If you hate us, that's an individual thing. That's not on us. That's on them.
I love that. And Marae, you were going to add?
And I think that's the problem, is that at the end of the day, I mean, they have the right to have a judgment, but we shouldn't take it personally. I mean, if they think that whatever we do it's irrelevant, or it's not.
Wow.
How do we feel? How, and if it's irrelevant, then that's okay. We should be okay with that. And that's where we get stuck. We should be okay with people actually not appreciating what we are doing, as long as we believe in ourselves, we believe in what we're doing, and we are authentic and true, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Rhonda, also I want to say this. If we allow what other people say to stop us, then they have accomplished what they have set out to do.
Oh, and that's not okay, right? That's not okay. And you know what? That's on us. If we allow people to stop us from pursuing our purpose and our passion and sharing what we're doing. I had a similar experience as you, Roz. The last time I did a couple of weeks ago when I was in Virginia at the Proposal Management Professionals group, and I was doing that presentation on emotional mastery, and I shared a little bit of my story and how I found my own emotional power and how I turned my situation around. And not only that, I then went on to use it to reinvent myself. I feel like I reinvented myself at least 5 different times, right? Every time I think I've got it, every time I think I'm on the right path, then I end up adjusting and switching and changing and going different ways. So I shared this story, and a lady comes up to me at the end and she said, when I read the description for this session, she's like, I was thinking, emotional mastery, I really don't want to come to this session. That's what she said to me. She said, I do want to come to this session, but I was looking at the others, and then at the end I was like, well, I'll just go. And she came up to me at the end and she said, I am so inspired. She said, I am so inspired by your story. She said, you managed to turn things around, change your career, make things work for you, even when you had challenges. And she said, and I am going to use some of the techniques and work on that. So thank you so much. You just never know.
Just
Just
one.
one. If you change one life, touch one person, help one person, it's amazing. It can be, and for me, that's the gratitude in all of this. That's where I am focused in
Mhm.
my goal of helping others. But as we think about sharing our own accomplishments, one of the activities in this group that I was in over this past week, as we went through, talking about accomplishments, was to just write down a list of your accomplishments. And to write down a list of your accomplishments and then to be able to share those openly with the group. We were all in these tables. And I got to tell you, the emotion that came out of that was really, really impactful. For number one, just writing it, people started getting tearful because they weren't used to writing down just a whole list of how amazing they were, right? Just write down all the wonderful things that you've done, both personally and professionally. And then to speak it out loud, they were also very emotional about that. We had a gentleman that spoke who said, you know what? I didn't really want to be transparent, but I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to put it out there that I overcame a divorce after, my wife cheated on me and all of this stuff. And he said, and I feel really good about the way that I was able to get that because it was very hard for me. These are things that we should be celebrating. So what would you recommend? There are women out there with amazing accomplishments, and we're so used to putting everybody else on a pedestal before us. How do we change that behavior? How do we change that behavior, Roz?
Well, first of all, and in order to change it, we have to continue to tell people about our accomplishments because eventually they're going to have to change, not us.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be on them. So either they're going to start doing some things or they're going to, go to another group or pull off your Facebook page or whatever the case may be. We don't stop, as my mother used to say, we don't let one monkey stop the show.
Mm-hmm.
It only takes one bad apple to mess something up. And we shouldn't allow that in our life at all. We have control over that, not them. If you let somebody pull you out of character, like I said earlier, they have accomplished what they set out to do. And again, in order to combat that, just like a disease, we have to keep moving forward. We still have to keep doing our work. You still have to keep doing your, emotional piece. I still have my piece. Mariah still has to do her piece, despite the obstacle. And that's what it's all about. They are an obstacle, the person who is not liking us. And then they have to look at themselves and say, okay, why am I like this? And maybe something we're doing can help them overcome it.
Right.
So part of it is that they're going to have to look at themselves. The other part is that we've got to keep doing what we're doing, despite what others say.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jesus, despite what others said, still, kept preaching the word.
Right.
And we have to do the same thing. We have to continue on, despite what others say. Even in a race, if you fall, you get up and you keep running. And we have to keep running. We have to keep going, despite what others say. Everybody's going to have an opinion. We have to agree to disagree.
I love that. I absolutely love that. We have to keep moving. Marae, how do we do that? How do we change this behavior that has become such a part of us as women, where we don't want to boast and we don't want to brag and we don't want other people to feel bad because we're talking about what we did? How do we help ourselves get past that? Marae?
Yeah, and I keep cutting, and to that is that we don't want something that we feel, like Rose was saying, we have to keep going. We have to keep sharing, the mission that we have, the purpose that we we've actually set for ourselves, and also expand, as a human being, and also expanding others, because at the end of the day, whatever you share and whatever you give people who live in fear, who are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. So when they see that you set the example and you can do something that they've not actually been able to do, give them strength to try and to go the extra mile as well. So, one opinion shouldn't actually stop us. And we've seen it with all the leaders of this world.
Yep, that is very true.
But also too.
More, a little bit more,
Raj, you were going to add?
I was saying
So they
sometimes
can
achievement phobia.
Yeah, there's a delay
Mhm.
and technology. So, guys, we apologize for the technical difficulties. For some reason, the internet and something is being really weird today. So, go ahead, Raj. You were saying?
No, I was saying achievement phobia. Some people have that because they have a fear of not achieving. They have a fear of failure. So to brag about it, then on the other hand, if you fail, a lot of times we don't talk about our failures. We always, talk about the achievement, but not the failures. Just like I posted yesterday, every month I post my accomplishments. Yesterday, in that post, I said, I didn't make this goal. And it taught me that I need to do better time management.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lesson when you don't accomplish something, so we shouldn't have that phobia, of success phobia. And because on the other side there's fear, so I think a lot of people do that is because of the fear factor, the failure factor. I've had all these failures. I only had one success. I had this other failure, and I have but to me, success and failure balance each other out.
Mm-hmm.
In life, it's a balance. So with the failures, you learn the lessons, but those lessons also can still help you succeed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mariah.
I think it also depends, on your mindset, how you view failure. Because at the end of the day, it might be a failure for somebody, but it is actually an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
You always, because you've learned something, and then maybe you've got to set back a little setback, but it's always going to help you to go forward and to follow your dream. And it's really about the mindset that you put yourself into, to really say success if you learn from it.
Right. I think it's really interesting. And I think one of the things that would help us with this is we've got to get comfortable. We've got to get comfortable with just embracing what we do. I mean, we work hard, right? These things are not accidental. We are not falling into, I didn't fall into writing my first book. I didn't fall into a CEO position, right? This is effort. It's hard work, it's intention, and there's a payoff at the end. And we've got to get comfortable saying, you know what, I did X, Y, and Z, and this was the result. Here's what I did. And if I did it, then you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody out there that's doing something that I have not done yet. And I want to be able to do what they've done. Right. And they inspire me. And hopefully there's someone out there that I inspire. We've got to just get comfortable in our own skin. Oh, that's a good one. That's almost a good conversation for us to have a whole show on, right? getting comfortable in
Yeah.
our own skin. I know, right? I just opened up that big can of worms, but I'm just saying we are, that whole mindset of being able to think that everyone else is better than we are, or they deserve something more than we have, or we're not as valuable because we haven't done exactly what they've done. Just shedding all of that and just being able to say, here's where I am, this is what I've done, here's where I'm going, right? I'm really excited about where I'm going and my goals and moving forward. That's not to brag about them, it's just to say it is what it is. Here's my goals, what are your goals? Let's support each other, let's celebrate each other. And then also, I think one of the ways to do this is to start keeping a list. Keep a list of what you've done. Just, keep a little kudos to me list and feel good about that. Celebrate that. No one should ever be able to take away your accomplishments. You are amazing. You've done amazing work. I was so happy to see Roz. Roz, I was looking at your pictures thinking, go Roz, go Roz. It's wonderful because you work hard, and I know you work hard. You're putting your stuff out there in the universe for everybody. Yeah. I made this goal. I didn't make this goal. I'm like, ooh, Roz didn't make her goal. All right, chop, chop, Roz. Let's move on to the next one. Right? So, I mean, that's who we are, and that's what we do. And we're here to help others. And we just want to be able to say, love you, embrace you, successes, failures, whatever you think they are, it is what it is, and just be able to move forward. So let's just do a quick lightning round to wrap up. What conversations, what strategies or what thoughts would you share to a woman who's out there today in a workplace who is shying away from sharing and saying, hey, here's what I've done. Here's another thing. What about when it's time for your evaluation or your raise? How many women are out there going, just accepting what they get? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, that sounds about right. How about you show up with the pen and paper in hand saying, I've done this, I've done this. Here's what my years look like. Oh, supervisor, I know you're super busy and you can't keep up with everything that I've done. So let me help you out. I got a list for you, right?
Exactly.
All of these things. And why not push back and say, yeah, that's a decent raise, but given all I have done, I think I deserve a little bit more. How do we, so just wrap up the conversation as we move to a close with what you all would share to someone out there who's in that position, who's struggling, even an entrepreneur who's struggling to share their accomplishments. What final words would you offer them? And Roz, we'll start with you.
I guess what I'm thinking is you have to get in with a group of people that's doing the same thing that you're doing, and then you won't have those problems.
Right.
Trust me, I'm here this weekend at SpeakerCon, and it's almost like, the speakers, event of the year, where all of us are coming together to push each other, to encourage each other, to ignite each other. Get yourself a group of people. I have Rhonda, I have Mariah. All during the week, we're encouraging each other. Oh, that's good. Oh, girl, keep going. What's going on? I'm having a bad day. If I'm having a bad day, what's wrong? How can I help you? You got to surround yourself with the right people, because let me show you something. At first, I wasn't going to put anything else up about this book. Look, I'm bragging a little bit on myself. Here we go.
Yes.
Myself and 50 other people came together. Said, we're going to share our story to help somebody. I'm going to show you a point. I shared my story. A lady came to me. I was leaving the hotel. She caught me. She said, Rosalind, I don't have the paperwork from my mom. Help me with the paperwork. One person.
Wow.
One event.
Right.
What are, so everybody has to realize that we all are out here to help someone. Get yourself in the group of people that's speaking positive. Stop. Don't be around these negative people. If you put yourself in a negative place, you're going to produce negative energy. Right. If you put yourself, that's why we go to these workshops. That's why we go to these conferences, is to replenish us. Who is helping you replenish on a daily and a weekly basis? Some of the stuff you got to do yourself. You got to replenish yourself. Self-care is daily. Resetting is daily. That's an individual choice. But when it comes to your business, when it comes to shifting your mind. You got to get the right people around you. Rhonda, let me tell you something. Rhonda help you shift your mind real quick. Give her 30 minutes with you. You have a whole new mind. Trust me. I've been on the phone with her, and now Rosalind, and I shifted. You understand what I'm saying? You got to get the right people around you.
Yeah.
That's why I come to these workshops. That's why I do the things that I do not only for myself, but then it helps me be a better boss.
Right.
Helps me be a better friend. Helps me be a better sister, brother, wife, husband, whatever the case may be. That's the purpose of going to these retreats, so we can reset.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also helping rebuild others when we do this. Not only rebuild ourselves, but helping others to rebuild.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Roz, for sharing that. Amazing words to just think about and take forward. And Marae, what about final thoughts from you?
For me, what I want to say is that has everything, it starts with us. So, you have to be proud of yourself and believe in yourself and celebrate what you do, because the celebration starts with you, and then you put it out there, and you're really confident that whatever people are going to think, you will keep going. But it starts with you getting the confidence, you really believing in yourself, you following your dreams, you having a mission, and really focusing on yourself, focusing on your race. Because what's happening when you start to look at judgment, it's because you start comparing yourself with other people. You start to look left and right, and instead of looking really in front of, really benchmarking yourself with what you've done yesterday and see if you've actually made an improvement or if you've made a step forward. So it's important to stay focused. It's important to focus on yourself, but it's important as well to really focusing on your thought process, because the mindset is really key here. Whatever you're going to tell yourself, whatever thoughts you're going to put in your head, that's what's going to happen, and that's what's going to make you comfortable, or that's what's going to make you, scared or fear anything that anybody is going to say. So make sure you focus first on yourself. And I will corroborate what Rose said. The second step is to really have positive people around you, because if you have negative people around you, always put you down and never appreciate what you do, guess what? There's nothing that you'll be able to do. You'll be in fear all the time. You'll be keeping every thing that you do for yourself, and nobody will actually get the opportunity to know you, to know what you do, your value, and let everyone celebrate you. So those are the key important things. Focus on yourself. Make sure you believe in yourself. Make sure you are strong and authentic, and really go after, out there and get in the right forums with the right people and initiate things, and focus on being in control.
Yeah, absolutely. You're such a key point in there. Roz and I are thinking the same thing. That part about celebrating yourself is huge. It's huge. Never hesitate to celebrate yourself and to be proud of your accomplishments and even your efforts and what you try to do. If you try to do something big and it doesn't work out, it's still a celebration because you went for it. Right?
Exactly.
You tried it, and now you learned something from it, and you can do something different. So I love this. We've had a little bit of technical difficulties along the way, so I'm going to make sure that we get this video, and we also stream live on YouTube. So even if we're struggling on Facebook, I'll get the video from YouTube, and we'll get that loaded and posted online for us. So thank you guys both for a wonderful discussion on this. I was just really touched when I participated in this workshop by Google and called I Am Remarkable. If you ever get the opportunity, it's really fun to do, and I'm actually going to pull some elements of it into some of the work that I do because it was so powerful. So I want to thank you guys both for being with me today. Roz, enjoy the conference. Have fun. Celebrate those other amazing women as you allow them to celebrate you too for your contribution for the book and everything else, and your ability to continue to reach out and touch other people. So, Marae, thank you so much. You guys, look, this is the crew right here. If there's nobody else, this is the crew right here, and I'm so very thankful for you both. So, having a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Coffee with Rhonda. Marae and Roz, hold up 1 second.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.